Oh boy. We're gonna need a medic. Hey there, viewers, and welcome back to the Self-Made Auto Channel. The temperature's rising. It is in the upper 30s outside, and it's getting a little bit toasty, and people are getting their AC going, probably because they're heading down south for spring break. As you can see on this 2011 non-Hemi Dodge Durango, it has a leak. So it came in a customer complaint of no AC. However, the customer did mention that it was smacked in the front end last summer, later last summer, I guess it would be, so months ago, back when it used to be warm. And it did hit up here, and I can see where they did some work. Looked like they did a nice job. Didn't see anything around the condenser. The AC system was completely empty. It did hold vacuum, which they often do, even with a leak, so just be aware of that. I put a little sniff in it, wanted to make sure the compressor worked, make sure it had the ability to work, and then I left my charge in there, and as you can see, went along with the old sniffer to look for a leak, and lo and behold, we found one. The plastic clips, aluminum hose, and salt strike again. Putting the rear lines on these cars are prohibitive. To get these from Dodge, it would be like a 50-hour job. They're up above the rear differential, they're behind the tank, they're over the transmission, they're behind the heat shields. They loop and twist and bend, and it's not even in the possibility of a repair that is feasible. Not impossible, but would be extremely expensive, even on a two-wheel drive model like this. So what I would do in this situation, you have one of two options. I'd give my customer, we can attempt a repair on that line. However, that sucker, where it is leaking, I don't know how the camera angle picked it up, but it is right smack behind the fuel tank, or right in that vicinity where there's not much room. So we would use like an aluminum, AC line type compression fitting. We could, cut it, pull it out of the bracket, cut the crusty piece off, and pop it together. However, where that is, getting up in there with a wrench behind the tank is going to be relatively difficult. Or the other option is we have these compressions that we stick, rubber AC hose on, so to speak, and, compression on there, run a length of rubber hose, flex hose, just like they use on the AC system all over the place, and then couple it to the line a little bit further up. So essentially we'll make like a 12-inch sweep. That is my thought, and that's what I'd like to do with this, and that's what I'm going to attempt to do, because I don't feel that I'm going to be able to get compression back there. It's either that or block it off, what do you want me to do, block it off? Well, hopefully not yet. However, there are a lot of those plastic clips along that rear line. I had the customer come out, and we took a look at it together, and he agreed, to give it a shot. Now, I did take the sniffer and go down the rest of the lines and didn't find any other leaks. Now, this is set up as, foolishly like the Caravans, where that, the rear evaporator and stuff sits up in right behind that back tire. A lot of slimy stuff on those lines. I think somebody probably sprayed them down in an effort to keep them from corroding, and of course, I didn't find any other leaks, so that's the only one I see. So we're gonna get the charge off the system, gonna chop it, fingers crossed, and get it fixed. While that is recovering, I know it's noisy in the background. We'll have a little bit of show and tell. So this is a kit I'm going to use, or part of the repair lines I'm going to use, made by S.U.R R. Pretty good company. Stuff's expensive. It is good quality. Not a sponsor, just FYI. And no, they will not sell directly to an automotive repair shop. That's what really pisses me off about this company. It makes it very frustrating. American made, yet they won't sell to you directly one single piece or 20 pieces, they don't care, but they'll sell it to a Napa one single piece at a time. I don't know. Blows my mind. At any rate, I'm going to be using the 3/8 repair stuff. It appears to be 3/8 line. Hope I don't get burned on that. So this is what I use often to just hook two lines together. Now these are all aluminum. They do have a brass ferrule in there, and then O-ring. These work extremely well. I think these go for the tune of about 20 bucks a whack though. So they're kind of spendy, but if it works, then really who cares. They also have these options So this is, we can splice 2 rubber hoses together. Of course, it's their rubber hose. Or we can build our own rubber hose. We can chop that line off, slide that little guy on, crank her down. That is a compression style fitting there. Slip our rubber hose over there. Slip one of these little guys on here with 2 of these little guy clamps. Or that Corbin style clamp, I can't remember what these are called. And then squeeze them down. They're kind of like a little baby, like if a CV boot clamp had a baby, this is what it would look like. And then essentially set that there. So these will sit in there like so. A couple of them. That goes through. The hose goes in. You give it the crimp. Run your hose where you need it. Which our hose. Where's our hose at? Should be up in here. This is some Goodyear Galaxy AC hose. Specific AC hose. You can't just go using some rubber fuel line that your grandma gave you. Of course, that's going to go the correct manner. Then we'll take this. This is my plan. It could all get derailed here. Let me get another clamp to show you. Being that it is show and tell, and we've got approximately another 8 minutes to wait. Stick that up in there. Like so. Might have to spit on it. Which I'm not going to shove that all the way in, but you get the drift. Actually, I suppose I could. If I was strong enough. Quit being weak. Okay, there we go. So that goes in like so. And then you can just make your own line. You know, let's say we had to change it all the way out front to back, you know. I suppose you could do this. And then what my intention is when we go under there, hook this back in behind the fuel tank. We're going to cut the line, pull it down where we can work on it, slip this little guy on, crank her down. Going to run ourselves probably a 12-inch section, put another one of these ends on, and hook it up, you know, on the flat spot in the vehicle where it's more accessible. And that is all assuming that I am correct and I do not have enough room to efficiently put one of these on without using like crow's feet and getting all silly with it. That is my plan. And for you shop owners who are curious about S.U.R R, I do know that the Advanced Auto can get S.U.R R stuff. It's likely available on Amazon and other retailers. My local Napa store, they will sell them. However, Napa doesn't carry this stuff, but I have to call my Napa guy. He calls S.U.R R. They take like $1 off the retail. Let's say that's 25 bucks. Napa can buy it for, you know, $1 off. It's ridiculous. The company's ridiculous. I do like their product. And they make 3/8, half-inch. It's going to be 5/8. And all the way up to the big jabronis, 3/4. These are some big jumbo heads. Look at them suckers. So they also make really nice block-offs, which I have their block-off kit. That's upstairs still. So you can make your own lines. Get yourself out of a pickle. This kit here, this AC 1387 through S.U.R R, not a sponsor. It did come with a cutter, which is kind of fun. And then it came with a cheap pair of the little crimpers for crimping them down. And then as you use products, you just replenish it. So that's that in a nutshell. However, I will say this against what I usually tell you guys. There is a company, Dorman, who makes aluminum fittings for repairing AC lines, and those are actually pretty good. It never fits back in there. So keep that in mind. I've used their stuff. I don't believe this company makes one for a 5/16 line, which is pretty popular. So I always end up getting Dorman for those, and they actually work. They are all aluminum, very, very similar in construction to these. Instead of having an O-ring, they have like a big fat O-ring. I don't know, like a piece of chopped off rubber hose in there, and they work. Do not use brass compression fittings on your AC line because, I don't know what they call it, galvanic corrosion perhaps. They just get all crusty and the line breaks in like 3 months. So I'm pretty much out of time. Well, I'm out of talking. We still got minutes, so let's just kind of find something to do. And so it begins. What I'm thinking. So yeah, so the tank, it may be kind of different how you guys see it on camera, but it's only about, well, that's my fat finger, that's my crooked finger. It's about a crooked finger's width behind here, and then it gets snug as a bug in a rug the further back you go. So I don't think, because I'm gonna have to cut the line back, you know, likely what we're gonna find is, you know, a pinhole obviously behind the bracket here. And so we effectively have to cut that piece out. Now, we may. What I want to do is I want to see if I can get this line down just enough, which I did. I almost like it was premeditated, but it wasn't. Ooh, let's see if we can get this little guy to come out of that clip. Come on, you mother lover, without breaking it off. I tell you what, let me go get some kind of prying apparatus. Things always go smoother when you get a pry bar. See if we can hold that and then perhaps get the clip off from it. It's probably crusted right on there. Yes, little fella, woo-ha! All right, whew. Oh, baby, you're crusty. Yeah, crusty old one. Scrape you with my crooked finger. So, if we can put a compression fitting on it, it's going to have to be on the outside of this clip, which is fine. I'm okay with that. I can sleep nights. So what we're going to do is this going to fit on the outside of the clip? So that's plausible. What do you want to do there, Rocco? Not the good kind. Well, let's get this other line back to the low pressure side without pinching your finger. Okay, that's in. Our other line is out and about. I'm thinking the hose bet is going to be the best bet. You guys can't see crap, can you? I'm pointing back here like, hey, look at this. You can't even see nothing. Think, man, think. I tell you what, let me go grab one of them compressions. We'll mock it up. Boy, maybe if we play our cards right, we can. And I can still hold that there and tighten it there. I'll be right tight to that bracket. Well, it'll work or it won't. That's what I'm here to tell you. And that's the way it is with a lot of things in life. 50-50. If I was a gambling man, I'd say, I don't know. You gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold them. That's what old Kenny tells us. All right, there's no turning back now, folks. You ready? Well, we can still turn back, but not in about a second. We can't get past the crusties there, buddy. Oh, we're committed now, fella. You just chopped it off. So why don't we do this? Okay, this is soft aluminum. We're gonna take and just very gingerly tweak that down, okay? Now where you chopped it off with a saw, you gotta clean it up with a pipe cutter. And then try to avoid using chemicals to clean it off, because like brake clean, that really raises heck with the old gas sniffer. And if you want to verify that you don't have a leak when you're done, don't use brake clean. I know you probably never would have heard me, them words uttered from my lips, but stay away from the brake clean in this case. So we're going to take and chop that off. And this will actually roll the edge down. Sometimes if you're pushing with your cutter hard, it actually will flare it up a little, which is not a big deal, because you use a little piece of sandpaper and you can smooth it up. So we're just taking, wipe off the shaft. So that's good like that. And like I say, if we are able to use this, Yeah, oh, I flared that up like a banshee, didn't I? So just take a little emery cloth. Don't get all ridiculous here. You can get too ridiculous with this stuff. You just want to take that little bell off. So what happens is, when you're using your cutter, so the cutoff wheel, it's essentially just a wedgie, and when you're pushing it down through the aluminum, it has to go somewheres. So sometimes it makes a little bit of a bell on the end of it. Not the end of the world. Just give her one of them. That shut this AC machine off. It's over here hissing at me like an angry snake. So there, that slipped right in nice. So that'll go up in there. We'll just tighten her up. Boom. We're good. However, boy, this might work out, fellas. I didn't see this coming. Ooh. So we're gonna take and pull this line down. All right. Now I did look. Now if you're working on something that's borderline crusty on the other, plastic holders up through the system, you got to be careful. You start flicking around, next thing you know, you got a couple leaks. Let's take and stick this on there now. We only got so much room to play with here. Of course, this line can be pushed ahead some. But you do have to get all the crust off now. I'm not going to try to just jam this all in one shot. We'll give her a little short turns here. Try to keep from putting a bell on the end of this one. How good did we do? What's that feel like, baby? Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's any better than the other one. So we're going to smooth that up though. Good. All right, so that feels pretty good. So I'll rip off that line. Everybody's freaking out like, oh, bro, you got so much stuff up in that line, bro. So settle down, fella. What else are you gonna do? You gotta chop it off. What are you gonna do? Unless you got like a magical laser beam or something. So then, I'm going to take a little Q-tip now. No, this isn't just going to shove any of the crap up in the line. The Q-tip's smaller than the orifice. We're going to twirl it around. We're going to have a little look at it. Because this is on the high side now, so just run her around in circles in there. And if there is any debris, it will attach itself to the cotton swab. And take that out. We'll try another swab. Because you don't want this, if you did get anything in there, you don't want it plugging up the H valve or the expansion valve, X valve, whatever you want to call it. Just do your best to do the best job you can. How's that? How's that for a little life lesson for you? I'll do the same thing on this one. That one did have some debris right on the edge here. You can see them in there. We're going to sneak past them and then give it the twirl about while pulling out. It's a classic move. There it is. Let me get another one. Clean as a whistle. So the other thing you could do, because you're kind of pointing down, and try to keep them pointing down while you're working on them. So gravity, it's the law. It'll help you out. Or you could take your little blow nozzle and give it a toot, in this direction, and use the Venturi effect to create a low pressure in here, high pressure out here. Suck out any loose debris and send them over there. Now that that is done, Of course, if you get your blow nozzle going the wrong way, you just blow all the stuff up in there. So we could slip this little guy over, and then let me just open this up. I just want to make sure that it is slid on all the way. Make sure your O-ring is on there. Of course, the ferrule is on there. Make sure this little guy goes on all the way. And then got to get the thread started. Now these are aluminum, so be careful how tight you jam it down. The thing is, once I crush this down on there, you own it. I am curious to know that if once this is up in place, man, it's gonna be tight. I mean, like a tiger. I'm going for it, fellas. I'm gonna try it. I may be out 25 bucks and a little bit of pride, some hurt feelings, but I'm going to tighten it down on this line. I'm gonna shove it up in this line. We can obviously tweak that direction some. Hopefully I can get it up enough to where I can hold this inner one and tighten her down. You get the gist. The big thing is to make sure it's in all the way. And then don't get ridiculous. That's step 2. You want it tight, but not too tight. Let's see, that line is clear. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna build this together up on this line. That way we ain't fiddling. We have to get the O-ring that's still inside that fitting. Use the back half of the Q-tip. Look at that. Slip that over. Probably should wash my patties, to be honest. And then once we get it up where we need it, we will do the finger cross and hopefully it works. So I'm curious if we can take and just start to join them together down here as I try to pick it up there. However, what we're going to have to do, this line has to come back a little bit. Now we'll do our final tweaking on this once it's 100% in place, but I'd like to start kind of joining them together right back down here. Oh yeah, I felt that. Because it's going to be a whole lot easier to make sure we're in. Oh, that's in all the way right there. If I can get this right here, that's going to be freaking awesome. Gonna freak me out. But these things do kind of freak me out because they are aluminum. So you have to get it like just perfect. Oh, you son of a monkey. I think you could even strip them out by hand. They're so tender, I guess it would be. I'm ginger, they're tender. Don't tell me I put a little booger on that already. Get that O-ring started. Come on, little fella. Don't you let me down. Oh, thank you, hallelujah. Oh, you guys can't see crap cans. I'm over here shaking. I just want to make sure I keep it held in until that barrel there starts to grab. Man, I got that hose. I got you guys all pumped up. Like, yeah, we're going to stick a hose on there. And there's already hose experts leaving their opinions in the comment box. That all went to pot. All right. I think she started to grab. I'm going to keep my eye right on that. Make sure that sucker don't pop out on me. No, she's starting to bite now. About that tight. Okay. Now we have to get this up. I'm going to use my little prying device. I have no idea what you guys can see. I'm going to come up by the tank, tweak that line in just a little bit. Because we don't want her rubbing. So I'm gonna hold it there, bend it just a little. Just massage it, just ever so gently. Talk nice to it. Yes, baby. Okay. That looks good. Oh man. This looks good. I mean, real good. So this is the part I don't like. We've got her bent. You know, it does fit well. I could use a little bit of tweakage right here. You know, you got to kind of fine tune it. It can't rub on other lines. This aluminum, or aluminium to say it properly, does not take vibration against anything. It would only take like a day or two if you got it wrong. And you're gonna know about it. Customers will be flipping out. I just paid you $1 million. Now my car's leaking. So we have to use the old zip tie because I don't really know anything else to do. Now this does bother me a little bit, but it's got to be secure. We're gonna go right back through the hole in the bracket in which it came out of, and we're gonna pick it up here and give it a good old wire tie. Yeah, baby. Like that. We'll leave that on there just to be a dirt bag. Not really. So I suppose what you could do is we could go twosies, give it like a crisscross, kind of a safety, we'll call it, safety system. That'd give you a little extra tension. You know there's that one guy in the comments right now, like, yeah, I would have definitely have used two. I can't believe you didn't. That's gonna haunt you. I hate you. I'm unsubscribing. Well, don't let the door hit you, fella. And just because you said that, I will stick two on there. Plus, it just seems more proper. I'm not doing it because the guy in the comment box said so. Because I really can't even see his comments right now, to be honest with you. I'm not a fortune teller. Oh, come on. I'm gonna have to give it the little bend-roo. Then through the hole. Yeah, like so. There you are, little guy. I see you. Oh, man. Winner, winner. That's a sweet X pattern we put on that. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what the Kool-Aid guy says. That's about as tight as I can do it. Cut them off so they're nice and sharp for the next guy, so when he sticks his hand up there, it cuts you. It'll cut you real good. The little suckers are sharp. Okay. That is completely secured in its location. Now, once that is secured, I'm just gonna massage that line off the gas tank just that little bit. Make sure its spacing is good all the way across and throughout. Oh boy, I'm so happy with this. There's our finished product. It is what it is, folks. You gotta secure it. Zip ties look like poo, but given the location and the fact that that's about all the line you can see on the whole car. To give you an idea, let me give you the rundown. Let me give you the what's up. So, that is above the transmission. The lines bring it around town and then disappear behind the heat shield. Disappear, disappear, disappear. Boom! There they are again. They come around up above the fuel tank or beside it. They bring it around town, up above the fuel tank, over here, up over the rear subframe, up over the rear differential, over the axle, Up over the subframe again. They pop out right about in there. They come out right there. And before you flip out, I did check that. That is something somebody must have sprayed on there. I think we already talked about it. And then up into the rear evaporator. So that's why I elected to do what we did in the location that we did it. Because if it works, we're like local hero. I guess it is at 2 pounds. So it's a 2.03 pound system. So 2 pounds. We're gonna take and charge this little guy up. I gave her a little shot of dye. It holds vacuum, but that is irrelevant. You know, that's only 14 psi, whatever atmospheric pressure is on the outside of the line. So it has to be essentially like a massive leak. A hose has to be off in order for you to see a vacuum decay. So we'll leave it at that. We're gonna take and get her filled up, make sure it works, and then go back there with our sniffer and see what it does. You're not seeing the high side move because I already unhooked the hose. It's equalizing the hoses now. Look at that bucket there we get close. Focus. That's better. Up the side vent, she's what? Just about 40 degrees. It's only been running for about a couple minutes is all. I can live with that. The big moment of truth. Don't fail me now, little fella. Well, I think we done did good. She's done blowing the whistle on us. Sweet. And that, folks, is that. One little piece of corroded line could potentially cost you thousands. That's something to think about. Fortunately, there are kits like this and like the other ones I mentioned by the other company, Dorman, that seem to work quite well. I've used both of them. I've looked into other repair kits that I haven't been so satisfied with because they take special tools and they use adhesives and stuff like that. This compression style, all aluminum, seems to work quite well. I haven't had an issue with the fact that they use a brass ferrule or some kind of yellow metal, ferrule inside the compression. I've never seen that cause an issue. I've been using this particular brand for I'd have to look, I don't know, I think like since last week, but 4 or 5 years, give or take a few months, essentially since they first came around. Of course, this company has expanded their line and they carry, NICOP brake line and, power steering fittings and, all kinds of different stuff like this to get your butt out of a jam, or where it's just, prohibitive to do it. I don't want to say it the right way, but you know what I mean, to replace with all OEM lines. That's just ridiculous, not feasible. Now on General Motors, some of the Tahoes and Suburbans that I've done, you actually have their all one-piece lines. They snake down through there. However, the GM in their wisdom has said, hey, we can't get these in there, so let's make them 3 pieces or 2 pieces or whatever. You buy a front half and a back half, you take the old ones, you chop it off, you put it in the front half, and then they put a regular AC O-ring fittings on it. You screw them together, and you're good to go. If Dodge makes that, I don't know. I didn't bother calling. I started, didn't bring the thing into like 6:30 at night. So that's that. And then, call a customer and he come and looked at it and we talked and whatever. Let me know what you think in the comment box below. While you're down there, ring that bell after you hit the subscribe button, of course. Questions, comments, criticisms, concerns, you know where to put them. And I think that's it. It's awkward. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.